Hi, I'm back after quite a long time, and today I have a little something to share with you before I go into the book review part. I have grown up hearing stories from my grandmother when I was a child. She was an English professor, so she used to tell me not just mythological fiction stories but also Shakespeare. Like, I grew up hearing Hamlet and King Lear and whatnot. So that naturally encouraged me to read more because I, of course, fell in love with stories. And over the past few years as well, even though when my grandmother was reaching her 80s, we used to talk about books all the time. I would recommend more recent fiction works to her in English, and we would discuss the books we have both read. A few days ago, she passed away peacefully, and I was with her. And although I have a lot of very fond memories about her, what I'm gonna miss the most about her is the kind of conversation we used to have about every book, every writer, every style of writing. And I thought, okay, she used to like my book reviews. She actually had a smartphone and she would watch my YouTube videos. So I thought maybe I should start doing it again. And I wanted to restart my book reviews with a book I actually borrowed from her, The Liberation of Sita by Volga. She used to make notes in the books she reads. So this book especially has her handwriting, and I wanted to, share my thoughts on this book. It's probably the most important book I have read, I would say. Because of course, as Indians, we all grew up hearing Mahabharata and Ramayana. These feminism and Indian mythological fiction rarely go together. On the one hand, we have Draupadi, who is made out to be an arrogant, vengeful woman who caused a war in Mahabharata, and on the other hand, we have Sita Devi, who was the most pure, divine, selfless, a virtuous woman who somehow became the reason for a war. Volga's Sita liberates herself. She grows from that naive young girl who got married to Lord Rama and immediately went to the forest with him for 14 years, to a woman who understands the world better. Her naivete is gone. And the most important reason is that in this book, she meets 4 women. Actually, if you think about it, in Ramayana, Sita is pretty much the only female character we remember forever. There's almost all female characters other than Sita in Ramayana are cameos, I would say, because we never really go deeply into their angle of the story. So in The Liberation of Sita, Volga has done this job fascinatingly well. She has got her Sita to meet 4 women who basically should be feminist icons, if you ask me. They are Shurpanakha, Ahalya, Renuka, and Urmila. These women are treated with indifference, cruelty, disrespect, and pure ungratefulness. And in Volga's reimagining of Ramayana, Sita meets them and she actually learns more life's lessons from them. And I think the reader himself or herself would end up looking at these characters very differently after reading this book. In short, I would say it all comes down to who's telling the story. When a man tells a woman's story, who is she in that story? And when another woman tells this exact same story, how is it different? For instance, Shurpanakha was a demoness whose nose was cut off by Lakshman when she tried to seduce Rama. But Volga's Shurpanakha reveals the racist, misogynist and abusive angle of that story. Shurpanakha was a Dravidian woman for one thing, and Dravidians were depicted as demons in Puranas. So Rama, who had taken it as his mission to spread Arya Dharma, obviously looks at Shurpanakha as a demoness. That Shurpanakha was victimized because she was a Dravidian. Shurpanakha was proud of her beauty, she tells Sita, especially her nose. But Rama is on a mission to spread Arya Dharma in the southern plain as per the orders of Parashurama, whom he defends to Sita, by the way, because, Parashurama killed his mother, but that's okay because his father asked him to. Sita does meet Renuka Devi, who was killed by her son Parashurama upon his father Jamadagni's orders. Jamadagni had suspected Renuka Devi of infidelity, and although we know that she was innocent, Renuka Devi asked Sita, "What if I was not innocent? Is this the fate I deserve? The son whom I gave birth to, I brought up with all the love in the world. He was ordered to kill me and he just did that without a second thought." For Rama, it was essential to be the protector of his wife, even though she can defend herself. There is a particular scene in which Sita tells Rama after their wedding that she can match him in archery, and he's very hurt. He actually makes her promise that she will always turn to him for protection. Basically, when Ravana abducts her, Sita ends up staying in Ashokavanam not because she couldn't free herself, but to satisfy Rama's ego. She was very much capable of saving herself, but she chooses not to. Do you find any similarities with the way our women, even today, give up on their power and their rights and their freedoms just to satisfy their man's ego? When she meets Urmila, who was Lakshmana's wife, who is left alone in the palace when he lives with his brother and sister-in-law for 14 years. Urmila isolates herself, but just like Ahalya, whom Sita met earlier in the book, she also tells Sita to put herself first. Do not put your husband or your children or the country first. Put yourself first for a change. It's a very good advice for women even today, because we have seen women putting themselves last. And it has been glorified and exploited, and nobody really tells women to put themselves first. I was really pleasantly surprised and excited to see women talking to each other and building that sisterhood in a story in which they were all denied a voice. And at the end of the book, of course, Sita leaves Rama, and we do get to see Rama's guilt as well. But when Sita leaves him, she's not leaving in anger. She leaves with a more matured mind. Maybe we should teach our children this new Ramayana now. I hope that every Indian reads this. I hope that this is the Ramayana our children will read in their textbooks. And if you haven't read this book, please do not waste time. Order this now. And it's a very small book actually. You can finish reading it in a day. I did. And do tell me how you feel about it. And by then, I will be back with another review. And this time I promise not to take too long. Bye-bye.